So we have learned about first absolute error. So how did we calculate absolute error? We do some measurement, let us say n times, 4, 5 times, 7 times, n times. First what we do? First we calculate the average value of that measurement, of that quantity what we want to measure. After that what we did, suppose if we have true value, then we simply say that this is the error. Let us say we don't have true value. So what we do, we first take the difference of each value with the mean. So each value with the mean, then we make that positive. Suppose if this quantity comes out negative, we make all the quantities positive. After that what we do, we take average in this error. So how do we do that? We add all the errors and divide by number of measurement. This is average error. Now what is the value of the quantity? Value of the quantity is average value plus minus average error. So plus minus, that means value of any quantity lies between average value minus average error and average value plus average error. So that we have understood. But we have also learned that a better way to represent error is relative error or percentage error, because that gives us the choice to compare between two different type of experiments, that who is performing experiment in better way. Otherwise absolute error can give us a false result that this person is doing better, while that person can be doing much worse than the other person. So what is relative error? Relative error is average error divided by average value. This is called relative error. When this relative error is expressed as percentage, we call it percentage error. So percentage error is, suppose this percentage error is delta E, we represent it by delta A. So this is delta A mean, that means average error divided by average value into 100. We multiply by 100 to make it percentage, then it is called percentage error. So percentage error or relative error is a much better way to represent any error. Now let us solve this example. With the help of example we will understand it in much better way. Two clocks are being tested against a standard clock located in NPL, National Laboratory. So we have already learned about standard clock, and at 12 noon by the standard clock the readings of two clocks are. So this is the time at 12 o'clock, that is on this standard clock. The readings of these clocks are, so Monday clock 1 is 12:00.05, that means 5 second up. This is 10:15:06. On Tuesday this is 12:01:15, this is 10:14:59. So similarly we can see different type of readings. If you are doing an experiment that requires precision time interval measurements, which of the two clocks would you prefer? So we have to tell which clock is much more accurate of these two clocks. So we are given these two clocks, clock 1 and clock 2, and what we have to tell about that which of these clock is more precise in measuring the time interval. Again we have talked about accuracy and precision, but here we are talking about precision. That means if we used to measure the difference between two times, which of these clock will be more accurate. Now let us see how to solve this problem. So standard time is 12 o'clock of noon. So this clock 1 is showing around 12 o'clock. So this is more accurate. This clock 2 is showing around 10 o'clock. But let us look for the precision. That means which values are much more near. So here it is 12. It is around 75 second more. Here 5 second more. Here 75 second. Here 52 second less. Again 110 second more. 45 second less. 90 second more, and here 79 second more. If you see this here, so time is running around 10:15. This is just 6 second more, 1 second less, 18 second more, 7 second more, 7 second less, 24 second more, 11 second more than 10:15. So here time is running around 10:15, here time is running around 12. So this clock is definitely more accurate. But here we need precision, because we don't need to measure the absolute time, we need to measure time difference between two things. Suppose one event, we start some event at 10:15, okay, 10:15 on this clock, and after some time it ends at 12:15. So this is 2 hours, and the precision of this watch give us when 2 hours are over. When we use this clock, so at this clock it will start at 12 o'clock and it will end at 2 o'clock. But again the difference is 2 hours. So it does not matter whether it is giving more accurate value or it is not. What matters us which one of these clock is giving more precise value. Now one thing for sure, this is more accurate, but when we have seen the difference of in seconds, so there is more difference in seconds from the standard clock in this clock 1. So it is too many seconds off from its average value, but it is not too off. So this is more precise. Now let us see what are other techniques to check whether this is more precise or not. First, we just read the numbers and say that this difference in second is far more in this clock than this clock. So this clock is more precise. Now let us check with another way. Another way is, as we have checked for absolute error, first we calculate the mean time. So let us say mean times comes out to be 12 o'clock something something. Then we take the difference of each and every time with this mean time. We calculate that in second, let us say 15 second, 10 second, and then we get average error. Average error. Let us say average error comes out around 60 seconds in this clock. But as we see, error is much less. Again, we average out these readings, we get some average time. Average times comes out 10, 15 point something something. Then we take difference of each reading with this average time, and then we calculate the average error. Again, average error comes out here to be 15 second. Since average error is much less in this case, so this clock is much more precise. There is third way which this book author has used. So what they have done, the range of variation over 7 days of observation is 162 seconds for clock 1 and 31 seconds for clock 2. So what they have done, so they have checked what is the minimum time and what is the maximum time. So here you see this is the minimum time, and at this place you see the maximum time shown by this clock. All other times are in between these two times. If you calculate the difference, so this is 52 seconds less than 12, so 52, and this is 110 seconds more than 12 o'clock. So when you add these two, so you get 102 second difference in this clock between minimum and maximum value. So this is 162. When you check for this clock, so this is minimum value, this one. Now you check for the maximum value is this one. So what you get? You get difference of 7 second less and 24 second more. That means 31 second in this clock for the whole weekend. Sorry, for the whole week. So the difference in readings of this clock is 31 seconds. For this clock 162 seconds. So that means this clock is varying far more than this clock. So this clock is not very accurate. This clock is not very precise. This clock is much more precise. The average reading of clock 1 is much closer to the Indian Standard Time. Average reading of clock 2. So definitely this is much closer to this. The important thing is that clock's zero error is not significant for precision work as its variation. So again they are saying the same thing. So what purpose we need? If we need for precise measurement, it does not matter that this clock is accurate or not, because a zero error can always be easily corrected. Hence clock 2 is preferred to clock 1. How did we calculate it, or how did we just remove or corrected this zero error? Just by taking the difference between two events. So on clock 2 this happened, this started at 10:15 and ended at 12:15. So again we get 2 hours. So zero error was corrected in this way by taking differences. So clock 1 is more accurate, clock 2 is more precise. Accurate, precise.